Is the Wake Forest offensive line drill tape for spring of 2005. This first drill is a scoop drill, a cut drill. It's a backside drill for backside linemen on the backside of our full flow plays like speed option or outside zone. I set the boards up 4 yards apart. I put the bags between the boards, so the bags are 2 yards of width from the offensive lineman. The cones I set up a yard off the end of the board, and I want the bags placed between the cones. So I put the cones up there so the bag holder knows how deep I want the bag. So the bag should be 2 yards of width away from the offensive lineman, and a yard down the field from the offensive lineman. The offensive lineman gets set with his hand right on the end of the board and with his foot right next to the board. Want that first step to be across the board lateral. You could open the toe a little bit at about 45 degrees. Want the second step to be a downfield step, gaining ground. It's got to gain some width, but gain some ground down the field. That's the key to the second step. Is we got to go get the defensive lineman on his side of the football, or if we try to just do it on our side, we won't get a good collision. We need to get a good collision on that far thigh. And then sometimes you'll even see a third step by some guys to cover the ground. I feel like 2 yards and 2 by 1 away from the offensive lineman makes him take a good run at the bag, and it encourages him to get 2 or 3 steps down. That way on game day, hopefully I can get 2 steps. Sometimes what I don't want to see is I don't want to see one step and throw, because that won't get it gut done on game day. Stance-wise, I like a neutral stance all the time, and when we do this drill, I tell them the highest part of this movement should be a stance. That the back should never raise up. You should have a flat back the entire time, and if anything, your pad should go down as you go to that bag. There's no reason to stand up. It's just a waste of time. So it's a fairly quick movement. One lateral step, and then cover the ground with the second step, and then throw that right shoulder to that far thigh board, far knee to get that defensive lineman cut. If I get more advanced with this, I'll even have the guys after they cut roll back into the bag towards the bag to try to finish off a guy that might not be completely cut to the ground. And this is something we'll do every day. This is something I feel like's real important if you're going to be a good running football team, and this is something we're allowed to do. We're allowed to do at the college level. Okay, I'm going to move on to the next drill now. This next in my 2-puller drill, everybody plays both spots. First they come in, they play the first pull where 75 is right now, and that's my kick pull there, my trap pull. Then they rotate to the second spot, which is the lead pull, the read pull, where they lead up on the linebacker and read the first puller. And then after you do the lead pull, you play the linebacker spot where you just stand over the cone. On the trap pull, I like to use a hinge step to start, where they're kicking off their outside foot, driving themselves back. They drive their right foot back at a 45-degree angle to get some depth to clear the center, and to get some width to close up space towards the target. Run right at the man you're kicking out. Run him as fast as possible. Force him to a decision. If he runs up the field, then kick him out with your right shoulder, run him into the backfield and kick him for width. If he plays to your inside shoulder, then log him into the line of scrimmage, use that left shoulder, try to drive him down the field so that the other man can get around you. For my lead pull guy, I call it a lead pull and a read pull. in that I want them to think they're going to lead up on the linebacker. I tell them to pull deeper than the first puller and think lead up. So they hinge with their first step, and then they also cross over with that second step, trying to get even a little bit more depth than the first puller. That way, if the first puller gets wrong-armed, they can naturally bounce their pull and get around them. But they have to be thinking I'm going to lead up. So I'm showing right now on the tape the crossover step, and then trying to get some added depth. And think lead up though. Find those yellow bags. When you come to the end of those yellow bags, if there's some space there, you got to be thinking lead up and lead up into that space. You got to keep track of those yellow bags. Pull deeper and think lead up. Now as you pull deeper, if the first man gets wrong-armed, then you'll naturally be on a deeper plane, and it'll be easier for you to bounce your pull and then get those eyes back inside for the linebacker. I'm simulating a 9 technique or an outside player that's on the line of scrimmage pre-snap, outside the tight end, forcing them to a very, very fast decision. Is it kick or is it log? And forcing the read guy. Now I'm going to back up. I'm going to back off the line. The tight end is down blocked on a 7 technique, and there's a softer outside linebacker that we're going to kick now. And so now the pull takes a couple more steps. The read takes a little bit longer. So I give them both. I give them the real quick read on the trap pull with the quick lead up or the quick bounce. And then I give them a little bit longer, a little bit slower pull, whether it's trap or log, where they're both having to lead up a little bit. And now it's a little later decision as to how to get to that inside linebacker, whether I lead up or bounce. The number one thing I'm looking for here out of the first puller is a good step that gains depth and width and speed to contact. I want him to get on that trap pull right away. The number one thing for the second puller I want to see is I don't want to see a small split. I want to see a good split, so you're not too close to that guy's back. I want to see the hinge and the crossover. I want to see the added depth, the second puller on the second plane, and then I want to see him with the mental process of thinking lead up, body language thinking lead up, and then reacting to the bounce look and bouncing his pull. We work this drill. We work both directions, and I have my guys do both spots. For the guard, they have to do the trap pull on counter tray, but the guard also has to do the lead pull if we're running power off tackle, and the fullback is my trapper. So the fullback can do the kick out block, and the guard has to be able to do that lead pull and read the fullback's block also. So if I'm talking to a tackle on counter tray or talking to a guard on power, I'm saying the same things. Pull deeper, think lead up. If we incorporate the running back into this drill, which we do quite often, if he's practicing his counter tray footwork, he'll stand in the middle of the yellow bag, and he'll practice his counter tray footwork, treating it like a backside guard and a backside tackle pulling. If he wants to practice power, he'll stand behind the trap pull guy. He'll treat him like he's the center. That way, that next man, the lead pull, is like the backside guard, and he'll practice his power footwork. So it's a drill I like to have the backs at also. We do not have the backs at the drill for this day. I'm going to move on to the next drill now. This next drill is a pass protection drill. The first thing I want to coach is the punch. I talk about the feet being staggered